when I was growing up, there were maybe 8 or 10 TV channels. And so what did you end up watching? Basically, whatever happened to be on at the time. There wasn't a whole lot of planning going into it. But one film that seemed to be on pretty often always made me and my siblings totally crack up. And that was because one of the characters in the film was named Piola. And we thought that was the funniest name we ever heard. We'd start calling each other Piola. We never heard that name before. It had that root word P in there, so that was always funny, of course. But eventually I realized I should find out what the name of this film is. And I did. And then whenever it came on when I was a kid, I would end up watching it. For some reason, I was compelled to watch it, or it was emotionally involving. I'm not sure, but that brings us to today's film. This is the Kazdoy Closet. I'm Kazdoy. That's my closet, full of all the stuff that I love. And today, a film that still has a lot to say, and that is still pretty surprising, even almost 100 years after it was made. Let's check it out. Today's film is Imitation of Life from 1934, 110 minutes, beautiful black and white. This is about 2 single mothers and their young daughters. One mother is a struggling working class woman. The other is her black housekeeper. They start a business together and deal with issues of family, race, identity, and the American dream. It was directed by John Stahl, who was known as being a director of what some people called mother love films, meaning they had female main characters and it was all about the sacrifices they make for their family. And some people might call them melodramas or weepies or women's movies, but that's kind of putting it into pigeonholing it, I think. The star of the film is Claudette Colbert. She's probably best known for It Happened One Night. She won the Best Actress Oscar for that one. And she's very good in this. She's sympathetic, she's likable, she's smart, tough, but also vulnerable. And her co-star is Louise Beaver. She plays Delilah, and she is this is possibly the first black film role of any meaning or substance. Most black film roles before this and immediately after this were pretty much stereotypes. And Louise Beavers actually fought and said, I do not want the N-word to be as part of this script. So the two of them together, really good chemistry on screen, really fun to watch them. And the third lead is by Freddie Washington. She plays Piola, that's Delilah's daughter. And this actress was a black actress, but very light-skinned, and audiences were kind of obsessed with that fact. So some people think that her talent was overlooked because they were so obsessed with the fact that she was a black woman who could pass for white. So during the course of the film, we have B starts off by, that's the Claudette Colbert character. She starts off, she's selling maple syrup. Delilah shows up kind of by mistake and ends up being her housekeeper just to pay for room and board, take care of room and board with her daughter. And Delilah makes B some pancakes, which B just loves, and Delilah says secret family recipe. Well, they end up going into business together, starting a pancake house. It becomes very successful. Delilah's face is on the sign of the pancake house, and then at that point you start thinking, is this the story of Aunt Jemima's Pancakes, which actually came before this film was made? And so I'm not sure. It seems pretty obvious there's a connection there. And in the meanwhile, the daughters grow up from being little girls to young women. The most interesting part of Imitation of Life is the relationship between Delilah and her daughter Piola. Piola, even at the beginning of the film when she's a little girl, is very unhappy. I don't think she ever smiles or laughs at all in this film. And she's very angry toward her mother. Why is that? Piola is very light-skinned. She wants to be white, and she wants to pass, what they call pass, in society as white. Whereas Delilah, her mother, is very dark-skinned. And so Piola is, I would say, ashamed of her, doesn't want to be associated with her. I don't want to give any more away because those are some of the most powerful scenes in the film. And they're scenes of great emotion. Meanwhile, you also have themes of racial identity, of mother and daughter relationships and how complicated they can get, how to get the American dream. And some people might say that the Louise Beavers character is a stereotype. I don't feel real qualified to talk too much about that. She does have a certain dialect and a certain way of speaking. She uses the word mammy, which Piola says, please don't use that word, because she's embarrassed by that. But, I did see the film, Spike Lee's film, Bamboozled, and that kind of opened my eyes to a lot of it. So, and if you watch a lot of old films, you're going to see a lot of black stereotypes. So I'll just leave that there. But you could also argue that B, the Claudette Colbert character, sort of takes advantage of Delilah. I mean, it's Delilah's pancake recipe, and that's what leads to their success. And Delilah's face is on the sign of the pancake house. So, you could say she kind of ripped her off in a way, even though they are devoted to each other and affectionate toward each other. There's one scene where B, at the height of her success, is having this very lavish party in basically her mansion, and there's waiters, everybody's formal, and there's waiters with hors d'oeuvres and all that stuff. And then you see Delilah and Piola either standing outside the house or downstairs. So it's not overtly stated, it's shown, it's not told, that those two characters are not part of this white society. I thought that was very interesting. The film itself struggled with the production board to get approval, because some people on the production board thought that people in the southern states might be offended by the racial statements that it's making. But it finally passed. It was a huge success, this film. There was a remake in 1959, which I haven't seen. And at watching this, I thought it was still surprising, still relevant, still powerful. And I do want to mention the music, considering this is a fairly melodramatic film, is not overblown. It's pretty restrained. I really appreciated that. So my rating for Imitation of Life, 5 pancake stacks out of 5. You are waiting for the Delilah and Piola scenes, that's true, but still the whole thing's enjoyable. Watching the two stars together is really enjoyable. I thought it was pretty revolutionary for 1934. I kept reminding myself, this was made in 1934? Wow. And the ending is very emotional, and I will admit that I choked up, and I'm a cynical old fart. So what's on this disc? This is a Criterion disc. It's a pretty recent release as of this recording. It does come with a booklet, which is unfortunately one of those accordion style booklets that folds out like this. And most of it is, it's a little disappointing. Most of it is basically a summary of the film. The picture quality is, you're going to get a square picture. It's pretty grainy, I thought. There are a couple of very good features. One is a feature by Imogen Sarah Smith, an introduction to the film. She's just always great. She's one of my favorite film experts. That's about 25 minutes long. She discusses mainly the director, Claudette Colbert, and the remake. There's also a 20-minute interview with a writer who's written a book about black roles in the films, and she focuses mainly on Freddie Washington and Louise Beavers. And then there's a trailer, and this is interesting. For the very first time, a studio made a separate trailer geared toward black audiences. So you see that trailer, and Claudette Colbert is not even in the trailer. Her name's not even on the film. Pretty interesting. So where can you see Imitation of Life? Well, you can rent it. You can buy it. I would wait for a Criterion sale and pay $20 for it. It's not on their streaming service as of yet. And you can try your local library because it's a pretty old film. So feel free to leave a comment or suggestion down below. I would like to thank the following people who took the time to leave wonderful comments since our last episode. Tina, Sam, My Stormy Seas, Michael, and Ed. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Leave a thumbs up. Don't leave a thumbs down. Subscribe would be great. Share this with your friends and neighbors. We are looking to get our next goal of 475 subscribers. And once again, I'm not selling anything. I have no eBay store. I have no Patreon. I have no merch, anything like that. This is just to share my love of this stuff with you out there in the darkness. I would like to thank 2 new subscribers, Stefano and Jonathan. Welcome aboard. Really appreciate it. We are also on Letterboxd app under the Kazdoy Closet. There's a link down below. And like I always say, that's where we leave short written reviews of other films we're watching that we don't discuss on this channel. So otherwise, hope you like this episode. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.